Hockey fans, welcome to my recap of the Bruins getting pretty badly blown out by the Stars in Dallas. Uh, Overall, not really great effort from Boston, but to Dallas's credit, I do want to highlight this. They've been on a bit of a tear lately. Um, so let's look at their last 5 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got 6, 9, 14, 19, 24 goals over their last 5 wins. And in their last game, they got embarrassingly blown out by the Capitals. This team's scoring a lot of goals, is on a really good pace, and is coming off a lot of motivation for this game. Tough. So, like, going into the game, right, they had 18 goals. That's pretty impressive in 4 games. Highly motivated Stars team and a Bruins team that was a bit flat. Very flat, actually, for being honest. Um, Not really a whole lot to talk about on the Bruins side. A lot of positives for Dallas. They were skating really well. Let's just talk about some of the overviewing points before the game started. Eric Holla got put into protocol, um, and the perfection line gets put back together. So Holla goes into protocol, and Fogarty comes up in his place. The perfection line coming back together is kind of a resortment back to comfort for the coaching staff. They've known this can work in the past, and so they're going back to it because they're comfortable with it. It's not risky at all. They're trying to play it super safe, and it comes back to bite them in the bottom. That line was very dangerous, though, whenever they did touch the pucks in that first period, especially when it was still a close hockey game. The first line's very dangerous for Boston. Um, let's just jump right into it. Olmark versus Ottinger. Olmark getting his third start in a row. There'll be question marks asked, obviously, because he gets pulled partway through. That workload too much. That part of that's obviously Rask not being at 100%. Jumping right into the game. Lively boards early. A lot of pucks coming flying off the boards, moving really fast. The game was moving fast as well, and the boards were helping that. Ba, 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 ba. So just the first line being dangerous. Pastrnak had a couple looks early, but Ottinger looked really, really good. Then in 13 minutes gone in the first period, Sagan scores from Guryanov. A really nice break goal, really fast. Um, but Boston get punished off that really good back check effort I was talking about in the last game's review, where they were back checking a lot because they were giving a lot of turnovers in the neutral zone and having to work, and in the offensive zone too, having to work their butts off to get back and back check. This back check, I think Taylor Hall pushes it forward, and then Vakanainen smacks it across the crease, and then it ends up on Sagan's stick, and he buries it. Bit of an unlucky break, but one of those ones where the intention was right. It's maybe just Vakanainen pushing the puck the other way next time. So the game starts to really open up after the first goal, but Boston take a couple of bad icings throughout this game. The clean breakouts were not clean, and part of that is us being flat and Dallas forechecking, skating really, really well. You knew they were going to come out aggressive and active enthusiastically after losing 5-0. Then with 4.5 minutes left in the first, Radulov makes it 2-0 Dallas. A really nice seam pass by Lindell through the middle. If you can watch highlights of this game, I'd highly recommend it, along with maybe catching the Dallas-Calgary game coming up tomorrow, just because those are going to be really high-scoring, entertaining affairs. Probably a lot of highlights. That Lindell seam pass was beautiful. Boston were looking for the perfect entry into the zone, as they did a little bit too much in this game. It gets picked off. Beautiful seam pass. It was one of those moves. Radulov settled it down on his forehand, which served as a forehand D because he could have ripped it from there. Went backhand, back to forehand around Olmark's pad. Nice, really nice move. Boston then ice it again poorly, like another bad icing, and then they ice it right after. Just one of those things that kept happening a little bit too much. Second period starts. Olmark's nose is still clogged up. In the last game, it bled with 4 minutes left, and there was blood all over his jersey, but it's still in this game clogged up. I don't know, maybe road trip, flying, who knows. Boston's best chance to bring this back into a hockey game came pretty early into the second period, where their call-up Fogarty gets a pass onto his backhand, and he's got his head down. He's a right-hand shot, so he's got his head down, looking down at the puck, and his back's to the crease. If he just turns and flicks it in on the net, it's going in. It's 2-1 hockey game. Unfortunately, he tries to pull it over to his forehand and then rip it in, and it's not even a great shot. It's kind of on the ground, and the goalie has more than enough time to slide in front of it. Ottinger did have a really nice save there, and it was a really nice game overall for him. I thought he played a really, really solid game throughout in net. The one goal Boston did get was just one of those ones where it's a really fast play from the corner that happens suddenly, and otherwise he deserved the shutout. I think one thing to draw from the play Boston had was their backhands weren't great. It wasn't just this Fogarty backdoor. Riley and Lazar failed just basic backhands that you need to have great comfort with at the NHL level. So bring that up in practice next time. Practice our backhands. Make sure our passing's good, our saucing's good, and our backhand shots. They're competent. They're directed. Maybe a little bit wild. Um, Again, first line being dangerous, Ottenheimer being just as good or better. Boston were getting into some bad changes now as the second period was getting dragged on and the game was starting to get pulled away from them. I think they felt with these icings happening and Dallas really skating at them, um, getting drawn into some long shifts. The first line was guilty of this, I think, because they were being the only line that was super productive for Boston. So they get caught out on some long shifts. This third goal is a Glendening tip in front after some chaos in front. The puck goes through the crease. Boston wingers aren't picking up their marks, and they collapse in on the net, and a tip in front just goes over Olmark. All started from a neutral zone turnover, and the Stars just keep pressing deep. Wingers a bit puck watching late in the shift. Brutal, 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 brutal. Not long after, it would be 4-0. Dallas would make it, keep ramping it up as they did and should keep doing. Push this game further and further out of reach. Really good momentum builder for their lineup. Uh, with about 15 shots, Olmark faced, 4 goals allowed. The fourth one was not really one he could do anything about. Ben got a puck from the top corner and just rips it from top of the circle. Beautiful shot, beautiful catch and release, nice pass to him. Yeah, really nice shot. So Swaymark goes in for Olmark. About 15 shots, and halfway through, 2/3 through the second period. Boston goes on the power play. Hull gets slashed one time, just a two-hander. Chop. Just looked bad in front of the ref. Was kind of a weak call, but it's the call you're going to get when you're down 4 goals. Boston try and move the puck through the neutral zone, but it's Dallas doing it much better throughout the whole night. Skating well, moving the puck well, and just getting active. Boston were on the back foot the whole game. No real momentum drawn from that power play for Boston, and then they give up a penalty, and Dallas go on the power play. Lazar off. I think one thing Dallas were doing really well that I was noting is they were entering with speed. Sometimes we're looking for the perfect entry where it's this like tiki-taka controlled play that's perfect. What Dallas were sometimes doing is just streaking in, delivering that horizontal pass to a winger, and then that winger is sending them forward because they're entering with a lot of momentum into the zone. Like a lateral sideways and then a forward pass into the zone. It forced our defense to just abandon the blue line, and then our wingers are there 2v1. And the person's coming in with speed. Okay, that's all I want to talk about for the second period. Didn't get much better for Boston in the second, and I wouldn't get better in the third. Steen got moved up to line 1. Cassidy was doing more mixing around with the lines. It was not working. There was no jump for this lineup. I can't even think of a player who had a great game, to be honest. Pasta was dangerous at times. I think he liked being up at the first line because it's familiar and good chemistry. But The second line's been really good with Holla. Anyways, Dallas on the power play, Forbert holding, and my comment is, where's the jump? There's just no go for this team. Dallas make it 5-0. After Nosek blocks a shot, Lazar tries to jump to both. Okay, so Nosek blocked a shot on his leg and was a bit limpy. So Lazar had to jump from both corner to each point, and there was a great seam pass by Dallas for hints from Klingberg. Beautiful goal, beautiful goal. Klingberg made that seam pass possible. Boston wouldn't go quietly into the night. They would eventually get a goal back to make it 5-1. Craig Smith up on the top, up a middle of the circle area, gets a puck from the corner, kind of like Ben's goal on the third, except his finish wasn't nearly as nice. Ben ripped it top corner, and Craig Smith beat him on the ground, I think. 5-hole. Ottinger, sorry. Ottinger is denied the shutout, and Craig Smith gets a point. It's positive for Boston. It's far too late in the game to really build off it, unfortunately. Dallas will get another power play. Boston suffering from more long shifts. Glendening gets robbed on the doorstep by Sway. It was nice to see Jeremy Swayman come into the game and look good. Not out of place at all, having his little stint in Providence. Boston are just going through the motions. Dallas know they have this one locked up. So I think the Bruins were just turned off at this point. We willed into a sleepy coma. Sagan to get a second of the night from Guryanov on a nice little 2-on-1 play. And there was just far too many breakdowns by Boston in all areas of the zone. It was the same thing that happened in the Carolina game. Breakdowns against all four lines in all three areas. Terrible. Radulov gets a nice little break and then hits the crossbar right after the goal. So it's another one of those instances where Boston break down right after the goal, give up another high quality chance. All in all, a really disappointing finish for the boys. I think that this game was quite tough to watch, buzzer to buzzer. There was no jump for this team. I think that there are some key injuries that can really kill this team, and 2C is one of those positions. We have an abundance of left wingers in the bottom six who can fill in. We maybe have Curtis Lazar who can fill in on a center role in the bottom six. We do not have a second center. Foligno can fill in as a center. With the second center role is just woefully lacking. But that's on a bad day. On the normal day, we need a little bit of D depth. On a normal day, we need a lot more confidence and strength in our own zone. Ugh. Games like these make you incredibly worried for the long-term sustainability of this team and their potential prospects in the playoffs. You can't have one guy going down in one key position and it not even be that relevant of a point scorer, right? Hulla hasn't. He's had a good January, I mean, but he hasn't necessarily been leading the team in any metrics. He's been doing a fantastic job filling out on that second line, but him going down can't have your team look like this against a Stars team that, probably should be beatable. Definitely should be a closer game than this one. Obviously, they're going to be highly motivated. And I'd be very interested to see how they do tomorrow against the Flames. That's going to be what I'm going to want to look at. Who are Boston playing next? The Kraken. Okay. Absolutely must win. There is absolutely no excuse for this game besides a regulation victory that looks convincing, because we have the Penguins and Hurricanes coming up after that, where it's going to be a much different game. I love that we get the Avs rematch relatively soon, too. Perfect. Okay. This is a big stumbling block for the team. Let's see how they rally. Like, comment, subscribe if you watch this far. Don't forget, I'll be doing these all the time. Just a little hobby pastime. Thanks for checking it out. Have a nice day.